This is Chris. Do you read me?
Loud and clear, Chris.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Chris, have you seen the No Kings protests?
Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell, and I'm back. I know. You can barely contain yourselves. But I'm sure many of you are asking, Chris, where were you all this time? Well, don't worry, I can explain. You see, it all started when I was 7. I had just seen Xanadu for the first time, and I knew in my heart of hearts that I was born to roller skate. But the problems began when I went to and so I told the guy it was dead when I got there. Needless to say, that's the last time I'll ever set foot in a Sam's Club. Anyway, I hope that clears things up. But now that I'm back, let's get on to the topic of today, the No Kings protest. On Saturday, millions took to the street to protest President Donald Trump and a Flag Day military parade, which also happened to coincide with the president's birthday. Critics called it a dictator-style birthday parade, which from a certain perspective makes sense. Was it a Flag Day parade, a birthday parade? Maybe Trump said, "Por qué no los dos?" Just hopefully not in front of Tom Homan. That could cause some issues. In any case, the organizers of the No Kings protest called the parade a display of dominance for his birthday and said that the corruption has gone too far. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. But is this true? Does Donald Trump want to become America's king? I mean, just look, he's wearing a purple tie, the color of royalty. Although when questioned about his royal aspirations, Trump had this to say.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Usually when you're a king, district judges don't have the power to issue universal injunctions against your royal decrees. For more on that, check out, well, basically any episode we've done about Trump up to this point. And besides, if Trump were really some kind of supreme autocrat, you'd think he'd at least be able to get his armies to march in step with each other? I mean, what is this? Maybe that's why a North Korean flag was seen at a protest in Washington, D.C. They could honestly teach us a thing or two. This is how you march, people. Still, protests against our supposed king were held all across the country. But it wasn't just Americans protesting. Sister protests broke out in Canada, Australia, and European countries like the UK, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Spain, which is to say, countries with actual monarchies. Yes, I know they rebranded many protests as no tyrants for obvious reasons. We get it. You think you're so clever. But you know what? Just for that, I will not rest until all of you are ruled by Habsburgs. That's right, we're bringing them back. Get used to seeing that chin on all your money. But anyways, king or no, that's the angle these protests were going for. Though, where did No Kings even come from? Who's behind it? Well, the most direct answer is an activist collective called 5051. This group got its start on Reddit. I know, just bear with me. Originally, this decentralized and leaderless viral organizing concept cropped up in response to Elon Musk and his attempts to cut federal spending through Doge. It's the brainchild of one anonymous Redditor who goes by the handle Evolved Fungi. Mr. Fungi describes himself as a little bit autistic and said he's been kicking around the idea for about a decade while trying to create a movement against infant circumcision. Okay. So, 5051, is it truly a grassroots movement like so many have claimed? Well, since 5051 is basically a Reddit meme with no centralized leadership, no command structure, and no funding apparatus, I'd have to say yeah, basically. However, the movement which sprung out of 5051, No Kings, that's a different story. You see, unlike 5051, No Kings proudly displays a long list of partners. And many of these partners are quite powerful and wealthy lobbyist groups. So No Kings is less grassroots and more grass tops, a sort of NGO of NGOs. When put together, you're looking at a $1 billion coalition. Its backers includes partners like ethnic, religious, and sexual lobbies, environmental groups, auxiliaries and surrogates for the Democratic Party, and perhaps most prominent of all, public sector unions. And when it comes to organized labor, these are some of the big boys. See, private sector workers have a unionization rate of less than 6%, yet nearly a third of all government employees are unionized. So it makes sense that they'd be angry when someone comes in promising to slash the number of government workers. And this actually explains something you may have noticed. Looking at videos of the protests, there appears to be a disproportionate amount of gray hair. And I mean a lot of gray hair. Oh geez, it's no wonder these people are afraid of Trump making himself king. They remember back when America still had a king. So, what's the connection between these unions and people who predate Pac-Man? Well, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Gen X and baby boomers occupy a large portion of unionized or union-represented jobs, with nearly 50% of those jobs held by people 45 and up. Combine that with the rate of public sector unionization, and you're looking at a lot of angry old librarians. And this tracks. Between the 2020 and 2024 elections, the only group Trump lost support with was people over 65. And this could go some ways towards answering Business Insider's question of why are there so many boomers at these protests? Well, it's finally happened, folks. We have entered the darkest timeline. The boomer civil war is upon us. One boomer Donald Trump versus the entire customer base of Golden Corral. There's only one way to prevent the cataclysm that awaits. We need fresh blood. We need someone who can break the chains of our past and usher in a new American century. We need a millennial. And no, I don't mean J.D. Vance. I mean me for supreme leader. That's not like being king. Do you see a crown? But what do you think? Leave your comments below. I'll give a little crown emoji to whoever comes up with the funniest, most brutal takes. And if you want to support America Uncovered's nonpartisan news and screw YouTube, subscribe to our new website, AmericaUncovered.tv. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell, and it's good to be back.